Today we celebrate the 18th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And our gospel begins with that whiny voice. Lord, tell my brother to give me what is mine. Tell him to share. Wah, wah, wah. But aren't we all there sometimes? We want what we want. We deserve what we want. And we'll whine. We'll be adamant sometimes. And yet Jesus' response says, whoa, wait a minute. You're focusing on the wrong thing. We're called to focus on God's abundant love because we are called and we are empowered to be God's channel of compassion in our world today. And Jesus tells a parable about the man who had this great abundant harvest and he didn't know what to do with it. He wallowed, he wondered, he struggled. What can I do with this harvest? And he decides to build bigger silos and store it, and that will take care of him forever. But Jesus says, you can't take that with you. It's going to rot. It's going to be left behind. Our call is to be that compassionate presence of Jesus, to share our abundance so that everyone can believe in God's abundant love, so that everyone can meet God face to face in this world today. You know, Walter Brueggemann says that we must confess as a people, as a person, as an individual, we must confess that the central problem of our lives is that we are torn. We are torn apart by the conflict between our attraction to the good news of God's abundant love and the power of our belief in scarcity. Our belief in scarcity, that there won't be enough, that I need to build more silos and hoard it. And he says that that belief is what makes us greedy. It's what makes us mean, and it's what makes us unneighborly. Think about that for a minute. Think about the times when you were less than who you are called to be, when you were less than who you want to be, when you reacted to something rather than responded to something, when you thought about building silos to keep what is yours rather than share God's love with everyone else. It's when that fear crept in, usually, that fear of scarcity. I'm not going to have enough. I need to get more. I need to save for retirement. I need to be about me, me, me. This gospel calls us to remember that the abundance in our lives comes from God. It's okay for us to have money, and it's okay for us to work hard for the things that we need for us and for our family. But we have to remember that our family goes beyond, that we are all connected, and that we are all called to be the face of God. And think about the times in your life when you were happiest. It's often because we were willing to share. We lent a hand. We listened to someone. We shared from our abundance, and sometimes even from our scarcity. Whether it was our time, whether it was our talent, whether it was our presence, whether it was our prayer. When we were able to see beyond ourselves, that's when we were the happiest. And I think that's what this gospel calls us to do, to remember, to find that balance. As Walter Brueggemann says, we spend our lives trying to sort out that ambiguity of this abundant love of God that we know and we believe, and this fear of scarcity, that somehow I won't have enough. And yet, as we've all said many, many times, We've never seen a hearse drive down the street with a trailer on the back of all of the things that we've accumulated. How are you being called to serve in this world? Where are you putting your treasure? In things of this world or in lasting things of being called to be that conduit, that channel of God's love in the world today? Thanks.